Hey YouTubers, Bronco Steve here. We are going to be installing the Ford OEM splash guards on my 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands edition. And for you technical experts out there, it is a non-Sasquatch. So I have been looking at videos and unable to find where anyone's successfully done this, at least on YouTube, with the OEM mud guards. And the problem, as you may know, is they're not compatible with the factory rock rails. So what we're going to be doing is removing the factory rock rails first, and then eventually replacing with these Go Rhino Dominator rock steps. So I will post that install in a separate video, but when we're all done, here's what the front mud flaps will actually look like installed. And Tanner is here to help with the installation. I have links posted to both the OEM front and rear mud flaps, or splash guards as Ford calls them, as well as this particular model of Go Rhino rock steps. So this is my first YouTube video of this type, so please be gentle. So we're on to first removing the factory rock rails that came standard on the Badlands. Okay, underneath the vehicle here, this is pretty straightforward. There are two brackets in the middle and the rear that are exactly the same. And then there's a little bit of a longer bracket in the front. And you're going to be using a 10 millimeter socket to remove these smaller nuts, and then a 13 millimeter for the larger one. You may have to alternate between deep sockets and regular sockets to reach. And this is the 10 millimeter socket that goes along the side, or 10 millimeter nut, I should say. It looks like Ford put some Loctite on these at the factory, but they do come off pretty easy. Now that you have the two rear brackets, the bolts off, nuts and bolts, we're going to move to the front. Similar, same exact sizes, just a different configuration. So there's two 10 millimeter nuts here, and then the one 13 millimeter bolt at the top. And this is a one piece versus a two piece bracket. So once you get this last bolt out here, this is they're gonna pull right off the pinch welds, so be careful. So we'll take this off, and then we will actually lift the rock rails out from the studs that go through the pinch welds. So I'm lifting these out, and it comes off that easy. Now we're going to go ahead so we can install the new rock steps. We're going to take these brackets off, and then be sure to save all of the nuts and bolts. With the current supply chain crisis, these rock rails are in high demand, so I plan on selling these, and I'm going to go ahead and sell the brackets and the nuts and bolts as well. So be sure not to lose those. Okay, to take the center and the rear bracket off, we're just gonna undo same 13-inch bolt here, and then remove these. I'm gonna go ahead and, may need a more shallow socket there, but I'm gonna go ahead and affix these to the OEM rock rails and then place those for sale. This one's a little bit tougher to break loose. So we are going to take this bolt out, and then the whole bracket just slips right off. And then we'll repeat that same step with this bolt here for the rear bracket. Okay, here's what the removed rock rail looks like with all 3 brackets. The back 2 are attached. The front one's permanently attached, but with the nuts that go around the studs, and here are the extra bolts for both sets of factory rock rails. Now, this is a great vehicle. One of the criticisms you'll hear a lot is the pinch welds that are exposed here. So they were previously covered up by the rock rails. Ford makes a trail armor piece that covers them, which I'll post a link to in this video, along with the link to the OEM splash guards. I will not be installing the trail armor because I will install this other side of the Go Rhino rock steps here shortly. So this is the conclusion of this video. Please look for my next one, where I'm going to step through installing the splash guard in the front here shortly. So this is the conclusion of this video. Please look for my next one, where I'm going to step through installing the splash guard in the front.